Can I ask a favour? I'm going to get the ringmaster sometime that's suited to you. Well, very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Girls and boys, welcome to the Sydney Royal Easter Show. It's a great pleasure to welcome you here on day 7. This lovely Wednesday morning, the sun's been shining and the shadowing riders are out walking the course for a very special event. We'll find out more about that very soon from Tim. But we also welcome the lovely Amanda Johnson here today too, who's with us today. Amanda's formerly Amanda Snelling, and her mum, Sanette Snelling, who's had a lifetime experience and support of the Anza Association. Annette organised all the Anza Association organisation. Well, she was chairperson for the Anza Association up in Queensland for many, many years. You know, she's down here with Amanda today. And Amanda's a young lady that's won numerous awards over the years with the Anza Association as well. And I think Annette might have been very much part of the initial group that actually started Anza off many, many years ago. Anza stands for the Australian National Saddle Horse Association. It was established in Queensland in 1981 to recognise and promote excellence in saddle horses. And the Australian National Saddle Horse was formed in Queensland. The association was first incorporated body in Queensland. Today, Anza still retains the Queensland Incorporation number 1, together with being incorporated Australia-wide. So we'll let you know more about Anza throughout the morning. But a very good morning also to, on behalf of our ringmaster, Mr. Billy Pickin, and also on behalf of Denise Ovens, Mr. John Bennett. Also a very good morning to Ring Control. We say a very good morning also to Wendy and also Jocelyn, and I think it's young, not Brenda, but welcome to all the members up there. Welcome to my wife Vicky, and also to Becky up here and over in the showjumping arena. Tim will introduce to them very soon, but there's two wonderful people that we have the pleasure of working with as a team this year, and it's been fantastic. It really has, and that's Tim Driverman and Carol Hugan. So, Tim, a very good morning to you, my friend.
Most certainly is, Angus. We're going to go take 2 in the show jumping at second attempt. But thank you for allowing me to join yourself and Carol here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show this year. It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. My first year, so it's been a wonderful pleasure to
been great
to be here and be part of all the action. And You mentioned our show jumping. Well, we hadn't planned to have show jumping today, but due to the unforeseen circumstances yesterday of that torrential downpour that we had, the arena is looking sensational. It needed that little bit of watering yesterday, a little bit of flood irrigation, a few people said. And today they've worked tirelessly to build a World Cup qualifier. In fact, it's the first World Cup I've ever called that'll be on at 9 o'clock in the morning. It was funny talking to the riders yesterday afternoon, you know, their ritual of getting ready for a big World Cup qualifier. You know, you get up in the morning, you come down, you watch a few other classes, you get into the day. Well, today, up and at it straight away, early into the competition as we get ready for World Cup. Very good morning to our international course designer, Mr. Werner Dieg. Great to have Mr. Dieg here from Germany as our international course designer. Mr. Ho Na Yu as our international judge, being assisted by Mr. Archer, Mr. Michael Archer. Of course, our counsellor in charge of show jumping and chief steward for show jumping, Mr. Graham Davey, has done a wonderful job in putting on what is now today. We're going to have the richest show jumping class here in Australia this year thus far, with $18,000 in prize money up for grabs in this competition. Also, special good morning to Jenny, who's our chief scorer, to Brett Davey, who's our chief timekeeper. And also, we have got a myriad of assistant course designers. Officially, we have Mr. David Shepherd, and it's great to have Shep up from Victoria as our assistant course designer. We also welcome Mr. John Valance, Mr. Brad Longhurst, Mr. Graham Watts, and also Mr. Mark Atkins. So they've all come out of the woodwork to help here.
The who's who of show jumping in Australia.
And a big thank you to John and Kerry Winning as well. They organised the Raise the Bar function last night, so Kerry did a wonderful job. We thank Kerry very much for organising that event. It was meant to watch the show jumping, but they had a wonderful time up there. They ran a Calcutta. They had a lucky door prize where people got to being represented or riding, you know, could have a rider ride for them. And it should be a wonderful class. But down in Ring Centre. Also,
we have the first class too, just making its way down. That's class 91. The Anza saddle horse gelding 3 years of age. And we certainly welcome Amanda and also Duncan McIntyre, who's the counsellor in charge, and Mike Avent, who down in that ring today, and many of the other stewards will let you know about throughout the day. So it's a very good morning down there to the lovely Carol Hukin, who's down there. Carol's a wonderful bush poet. Carol's just back from Canada or America, where she was a guest over there in their lovely part of the world. And Carol is in great demand, also great demand here in Australia. She has books out, she has recordings, CDs, and Carol's been, her life has been spent with the equestrian world. And Carol comes to that beautiful part of the world, the Hunter Valley of New South Wales. So it's a very good morning to Carol Hukin.
Thank you very much, Angus, and good morning to Angus Lane and Tim Dreverman. Well, we're going to have a mutual admiration society, I think, with the three of us, because it is a great team to work with. We've really enjoyed each other's company, and you are in great hands, folks, because you have a wonderful team. Angus Lane, the velvet voice of broadcasting of agricultural shows throughout Australia. He's the number one, I would say, without a doubt, Order of Australia recipient, Father of the Year Queensland, numerous other awards. We are so very lucky to have him as part of the broadcasting team here for the 2015 Royal Easter Show. And Tim, first year and doing a fabulous job, and very excited to be so much involved with this prestigious event today. Tim, he's only 31 years old. He's getting married later in the year, folks, to Rhiannon Ellis. He is the announcer at Brisbane, Melbourne and Canberra and a lot of other agricultural shows as well. He's employed by William Inglis and Sons as their business manager. He also is involved in the running of various jumping events throughout New South Wales. But down here, well, I've got my gumboots on, but this arena is terrific. It bucketed down yesterday. Okay, the track looks a bit wet and slippery, but out here on the arena, sure it's damp, but the footing is just terrific. So well done to those who were in the planning stages of organising this amazing spotless arena down here. It's just terrific. And great to have the Anza horses. Welcome to all the Anza people. The hacks and the Anza horses All of their connections have moved in overnight. Stock horses have moved out. It's a rotating parade down here at the Royal Easter Show. There are just so many different breeds and events that we can't all be here at once. So as various groups of classes are completed and they make their way home, another lot come in. So very busy, lots of things happening. Little word to our measurers. We have official measurers working tirelessly behind the scenes. Every horse that goes in a competition here has to be officially measured, and that might sound pretty easy, but by gee, it's not, I can tell you. They do a sterling job down there, and a whole new batch of people in this morning to have their horses measured for the hacking events, the ponies, the Galloways, the hacks, and the next group of classes. And as we said, we've got class 91, the Australian National Saddle Horse Association's first class of the show, and that's for geldings 3 years. But we've got people walking the course. Tim Dreverman, you want to tell us a little more about what's coming up?
Well, thank you, Carol. Yes, we do have our World Cup qualifier coming up. The riders are walking the course. We have 32 nominations for today's class. This is for the first league of the Pacific League. The winner of the 2015 league will get to go to Gothenburg in 2016 and represent Australia at the World Cup final. Each year, the leagues all around the world compete, and in fact, last year's winner, Tim Clark, has the opportunity to go to Las Vegas and represent the Pacific League or the Australian pool of riders in the World Cup final later on this year. Very exciting for our show to be putting on such a prestigious class and welcoming our competitors out here to centre stage. So riders are walking the course. We'll be getting underway just on 9 o'clock with our first horse on course for the 2015 Sydney Royal Easter Show World Cup qualifier, an FEI 2-star.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Tim Dreverman. Well, ladies and gentlemen, those of you that do have your catalogues, if you make sure you were interested in the Anza classes, just turn to page 29, your catalogues, and you'll be able to follow all the results as we present them to you here throughout the day, because we'll be acknowledging all the classes and then the winners of the classes as well. I'd also just like to congratulate and pay tribute to the lovely Leonie Livingston. Leonie has judged here in the past and also been competed here for many years. And Leonie and Angus come from Moree in New South Wales, and Leonie has been the chairperson of the Anza Association as well. And Leonie sends her best wishes to you all for a very successful showing here of Anza classes at the Sydney Royal Easter Show for 2015. So, and Mr. Joe Drake. Joe Drake was also a wonderful gentleman. Joe was on the foundation committee of the Anza Association. And Joe, he's over 104, 105 years of age now. It's unbelievable. The wonderful man, just a dynamo when it comes to the equestrian world. Just loves everything about the equestrian world. And up until a few years ago, he used to come to the Ekka every year. And also, he's living, or has been living, down in northern New South Wales, Joe Drake. But to reach that age of over 100 is, Carol Hukin, something very special. And also to have, you know, all your faculties as well. It's wonderful to think he still shows a wonderful interest in what's happening.
That is terrific, isn't it? Just incredible. We've got some incredible personalities in the horse world that have contributed so much over the years, and the generations continue. It seems to be very much a family thing. We have the families of past stewards and what have you continue to come. We have family members together working down here, and even in the period costume turnout for the light harness yesterday, one of the competitors was wearing very much heritage clothes, and they weren't clothes that she'd acquired from thrift shops or from searching the net. They were clothes that had been passed on through her family for generations and generations. What a wonderful thing, Angus.
Yeah, exactly. It's I couldn't agree with them more. That's the name of the game, isn't it? I mean, I always remember my dad saying to me many years ago. He said, if you want to with families, he said it takes 3 families to build a business up, and one member of a family come along and destroy what 3 families have set up. And I suppose to a degree we see that in the equestrian world, but more than likely we see the 5th, 6th and 7th generation, don't we? And the equestrian world continue on, and still all of a sudden maybe it might be all boys, and the boys say, well, I don't want to ride anymore, I'll get a motorbike. So it all changes all the time, doesn't it?
It does, and I feel like I should curtsy here to these fabulous show jumpers as they go by. The royalty of the show jumping world is going before me as they've walked the course there.
Yes, it's great to see, and it's lovely to see also, as Tim mentioned before, John Valance and also Graham Watts. Graham's been a chairman of selectors of the Australian team for many years, and also down here with all the other officials as well. So it's great to see. And Watsy has been building courses up in Queensland. He just finished at Pittsworth and Toowoomba show last week before coming down, before we came down to Sydney Royal Easter show. So it's nice to welcome the top course designers and officials of shadowing equestrian shadowing in Australia to be down here with Mr. Graham Davey, and what a great event it's going to be coming up very, very soon. And Carol, have a look at this beautiful little vehicle up here too, from the winning family.
The winning van, isn't it cute?
Isn't that lovely?
It is lovely. I'd like to know how old it is, but it's in beautiful condition, and of course it is the winning appliances van. So much that family is a supporter of show jumping, and so he parks that little van out there on the grounds.
Well, at least it's not like Jimmy Cullen the other night in the camp draft. I mean, I mentioned that Tyrrell's wine was first around since 1885 or 1895. He said, oh, Angus, he said, you'd remember that, wouldn't you? He said, when it first came out, the first drop, you would have tasted that, Angus, you know.
Oh, that's
what a lovely
mean.
man.
That's mean.
I said it was,
Angus, we've got some slight changes in the program
We
today.
do? Yeah,
that
tell us about it.
We should let people know about, because we're very thrilled to have the Purebred Arabians back again. They made a great show last year. They used to be so prolific here in the main arena or back at the old showgrounds, the Purebred Arabians. And then they started sort of running their own shows and championships, as so many of the various components of the agricultural shows do, unfortunately. But they came back with gusto, and they will be on today. Now, because of the grounds and some rescheduling, we have decided to put the Purebred Arabians in that covered marshalling area. So the light harness classes will continue in the main arena, and Angus will give you more exact details, and the Anza will continue here. The non-traditional heavy harness classes will be a little later in the day. We'll give you exact times as we go through the program. But anybody in the stands wanting to see the Purebred Arabian classes, they will be on, but we have rescheduled them to be in the undercover arena. So I guess they're grinning. They don't have to worry about the weather today, do they, Angus?
No, that's exactly right, Carol, yes. And the wisdom of our ringmaster, Mr. Bill Pickin, and Denise Oven and John Bennett, as Carol said, it was a decision by them to with the amount of rain we had yesterday, because of the practice arena being right up in front of the Sinclair stand, the Vincent Fairfax stand, and that's where the heavy horses will be showing this afternoon. It was decided to allow the Arabians to go over to the marshalling yards or the indoor arena, and we have the light harness in front of the Cumberland stand later on today, this morning, and the Anza down here. Well, we just have our first result this morning of Class 91, the Anza Saddle Horse Gelding, 3 years. And catalogue number 1863 is our winner. Congratulations to Ainsley Stars with Jackie Long and Mrs. King from Perriman, New South Wales. Congratulations, Jackie. A lovely lady, Jackie Long. Second place to catalogue number 1019, Celadon Addiction, Tiffany and Mick Allen from Luscantire, New South Wales. And third place to catalogue 1213, Pam Bush. Lovely to have Pam up here exhibiting this year from Brandy Hill, New South Wales, and that was Kirriby Park Mercado. So congratulations to them. And Carol Hukin is down there alongside where the answers are being presented, so it's back down to Carol.
Thank you very much, Angus. And Leonie Livingston, that you spoke about, is sitting here watching excitedly the answer classes. It's great to have her here. Welcome. And the first class, the first ribbon for answers, and no one other than Jackie Long. Congratulations, Jackie.
Thank you, thank you.
You've been a great supporter of answer classes.
Yeah, for quite some time now, nearly since when it sort of kicked off a bit in Queensland, and yeah.
We won't put your age up.
No.
Well, have a great show. We've got a lot of classes to go through. Welcome to all the answer people watching and the exhibitors as well. great organisation. When it first was conceived, it was thought that the ponies have several registrations. You can have a pony be perhaps an Australian pony, a Welsh pony, a saddle pony, lots of opportunities for them to compete. But the bigger horses, and originally it was over 14 too, now over 14, but originally over 14 too, really only had their hack classes, perhaps thoroughbred classes, but they are not held as frequently as the other breed classes. And so those very concerned people thought, well, we have to have something for the bigger horses. And so the Anza saddle horse was started. It wasn't just for show horses. Horses could be quite capable in other directions and other fields, but they had to have specific conformation requirements, movements, temperament, paces, etc. And they formed panels of classifiers, and people who wanted to have their horses accepted into the registry were brought before the classifiers and either accepted or otherwise. And since then, the Anza organisation has gone on, particularly in Queensland, but also in New South Wales, and we're very proud to be part of it. I've had Anza horses and shown them with pride, and it's great to have them down. Now it's for horses over 14 hands. It's a great organisation. They run point score competitions and all sorts of things, and we're really thrilled to have them down here at the Royal Easter Show. So welcome to everyone involved. Amanda Snelling, what a name in the world of Anza horses. She has been so successful, and we really welcome her here today. Our photographers are here. The sun is shining. Welcome to all those wonderful photographers who capture the magic moments down here in the Spotless Arena.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Carol Hukin. Well, ladies and gentlemen, yes, and Anza also have a very high-quality magazine, keeps Anza members informed too. So welcome them, and it's lovely to see Annette Snelling. Annette Snelling's down there. Annette, great to see you. Amanda's mum, sitting up in the grandstand too. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a short break, and we'll...
Can you come to me first?
We'll just go to Tim first, and then we'll have a break, and we'll just bring you a message on our sponsors.
Well, just as they leave the arena, a very special welcome to Judy Jackson, who's just got the opportunity to walk the course as our lucky door prize. Judy has had the pleasure of walking the course with young John Valence down there, and actually, Angus, you'll be interested to know that Judy Jackson is an owner of a horse at the moment with Clem Smith. She has shares in that beautiful Delilah.
Yes,
And she came down here, wonderful supporter of show jumping and equestrian, has horses.
She was my neighbour.
Well, there you go.
She owned a property called Oaklands with a late husband, Bryce, and she has one daughter, Peter. Peter's married to a doctor, and Peter is a very successful rider herself, and Peter, in fact, is a physiotherapist, and Judy lives down halfway between Toowoomba and Marburg, down in that area. So, lovely lady, yes.
Lovely lady, and a wonderful opportunity, and no doubt she has the best seat.
Brilliant tennis player too.
There you go. There you go.
And she grew up at Longreach in central Queensland, and her family up there, the Deans, own some of the biggest properties in Queensland.
Well, I can't tell you anything. Here I was thinking I had some information to tell you, and I was going to introduce her just as she was leaving the arena. So thank you, Judy, for being a supporter of our sport. And as Angus mentioned, I did jump in just there, but we may now cross to the big screen for a message from some of our wonderful sponsors.
You do it so well.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to you around the ground and also around the world. We are live streaming this competition, and we do hope, wherever you are, whether you're here with us in the main stadium or anywhere in the country or the world, that you're enjoying this glorious Wednesday morning. Of course, the program has been changed, and a massive thank you to our ringmaster, Mr. Bill Picken, our assistant ringmaster in Mr. John Bennett, and our chair of the horse committee in Denise Ovens, for taking the time yesterday to restructuring so that we have the honour and the privilege to present to you the World Cup qualifying round, the first of the 2015 season here in Australia. And this show is always a benchmark to look at the horses as they go. I don't think it will have hurt any of the horses or riders to have had the opportunity to have had an extra day yesterday with the ground being so heavy and boggy underfoot. This is really going to give us the best opportunity. For our World Cup, it's the first time here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show for the competition this year that our horses and riders get to make their way out and jump a practice fence or two prior to coming into the arena. This is an FEI 2-star international competition, and for those of you sitting here on the ground and following the other classes that are taking place, we will have a pull-through for results on the big screen. That information will come through as we go through the morning. The class is being run under FEI regulations, Article 273, 3.3 and 1.4.3. The height is at 1.50 to 1.60 m. The length of the course is at 560 metres. The time allowed is 90 seconds. The riders have been set the challenge of completing the course at 375 metres per minute. We have the two combinations. The first of the combinations comes up at 5A, 5B, 5C. And the second combination comes up at 11A, 11B. Of interest, there's an option at fence number 4. There's the Sydney Royal Easter Show wall, or a big tall vertical sitting there side by side. The riders can choose to jump either the left or right side. This class has been put together with great thank you to one of our sponsors here for 2015, Winning Appliances and Appliances Online. Our first horse makes their way out into the arena. We welcome from the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Billy Raymond. And Billy rides a horse nominated by Michelle and Tim Clark and Mrs. Bryce from South Australia. Horse by the name of Anton. He's had wonderful success in the lead up to this competition, the winner of the World Cup qualifier at the Brisbane Ekka in 2014. He's been in the placings here this last week and jumping with fine form. Great to welcome from the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Billy Raymond, riding Anton. Well, unfortunately this horse has been as solid as a rock all week long. Haven't seen any of that come out from him. That is disappointing for us as competitors and also for Billy Raymond and the connections involved with that horse. Unfortunately, the Indigenous fence not liking or being taken to there too kindly from Anton. Second refusal does incur elimination for Billy Raymond and Anton. Well, we only therefore got to see the first 5 senses of the course. There is plenty of jumping still to be had around this track, set by our international course designer, Mr. Werner Deeg. In fact, standing out there just beside the triple bar. He is a master of the business. He has certainly done a sensational job as our international course designer. If anyone got the pleasure to watch the mini Prix here yesterday, you really got to see these horses grow and improve from our Group A, Section 2 and Section 3 horses. It was a sensational class. Well, next out on course, we welcome from Hawke's Bay in New Zealand, Juliet and Walker Hansen's nomination of Turnip Blue NZPH. This horse already won a World Cup qualifier in late 2014 over there in New Zealand. It is a beautiful horse by Mr. Blue, bred by New Zealand Performance Horses, nominated by New Zealand Performance Horses and ridden by the delightful young Bridget Hansen. Number 2 in the draw from Hawke's Bay, New Zealand, Turnip Blue NZPH and Bridget Hansen. Well, the last fence is the big tall oxer in front of her. She turns behind. 3 fences, 4 efforts left to go. Just carrying the 1 rail down. 4 jumping penalties. Hey, how about it here in the stadium? Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Just the 1 rail down. Fence number 8, the rainbow fence. The big tall vertical sitting out on its own. 4 jumping penalties. 75.39. Well inside the time allowed of 90 seconds. Well inside the time allowed of 90 seconds. 75.39 the time taken for Bridget Hanson and Turn It Blue NZPH. Well, she certainly made that look a lot easier than it did walk. Let me tell you, those lines out there, every one of them has a question mark over them. A decision being required from our riders as we now welcome out to centre stage the next of our riders, all the way from Western Australia, from the Margaret River. One of the riders from the Yulambie stud. It is Yulambie Capino Z. Nominated by Rory Hovell and Yulambie stud, and our rider in the saddle is Alison Rowland. Alison, a well-experienced show jumping rider with many, many years of opportunity to succeed in the sport of show jumping, and hails from Western Australia in the Margaret River. Nominated by Yulambie stud, it's the imported warm blood stallion by the name Yulambie's Capino Z and Alison Rowland. Three fences, 4 efforts left to go. All clear at this stage for Alison Rowland and Yulambie's Capino Z. Well, how about it, Sydney? Put your hands together. Safely over the last. 79.42 the time taken. Well under the time allowed of 90 seconds. 79.42. More importantly, what a turnaround this horse has had in a week here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. He's grown about 3 hands in confidence. No jumping penalties, no time penalty. Alison Rowland guarantees herself a spot into the second round. We will take the minimum of the top 25% back for the second round from the first round. We will take a full rebuild after the first round and then give the riders the opportunity to walk as we now welcome out our next competitor into the arena. The number 1 rider for the Diamond B stud, nominated by Helen Chugg, a mare that is one of the early progeny of that beautiful sire of Avant. It is Amanda Madigan, and Amanda riding number 4 in the draw, nominated by Helen Chugg, Diamond B, Vigo. Well, it's just come through my ears. A note to riders, the time has been altered to 85 seconds. That time allowed changed to 85 seconds first rider had 75.39, second rider 79.42. Amanda Madigan carrying the 8 jumping penalties with four efforts left to go. Oh, that mare tried her heart out. She got all the way around to fence number 7 without a rail down. Unfortunately, the 2 lay it down on the related line, the 2 verticals, with the 4 non-jumping strides, 8 to 9. It was finishes her round. 12 jumping penalties, 79.57, 79.57. Time allowed now, 85 seconds. Time allowed now is now 85 seconds. So the time has been adjusted to 85 seconds. Diamond B. Vigo and Amanda Madigan, 12 jumping penalties, 79.57, so still under the time allowed. 12 jumping penalties, no time penalties, a total of 12. Next out on course, we welcome from the southeast Gippsland. It is number 5 in the draw, Ali Lamb, and Ali rides. Andrew and Ali Lamb's nomination of Penrose. Penrose, a warm blood mare. She placed here on the first day of competition in the Group A Section 2 competition. A beautiful warm blood mare, bred by Daly K. Sired, I should say, by Daly K. Well, Alison, she is Ali, a top show jumping rider. This mare has been competing at this level for the last couple of years. Certainly would be seen as one of our contenders with a perfect preparation leading into today's competition. From Denison, just outside of Sale, we welcome Ali Lamb and Penrose. Oh, no problems at the final fence. The 4 fences needing adjusting very hard when you have that first rail down. And the Glebe Terrace fence falls. Total of 16, 76.06 the time taken, 76.06 the time taken. 16 jumping penalties, no time penalties, a total of 16. At this point in the competition, we've seen 4 horses commence their round. And Bridget Hanson and Turnip Blue NZPH, just the 1 rail down, 4 jumping penalties. And Amanda Madigan, and Alison Rowland and Yolambi's Capino Z with a clear round. Next out on course, this is his first of 2 nominated rides. In fact, you have to pick your World Cup horse. Tom has chosen SL Limerick as his World Cup point horse. You can compete with a second horse. You can still win the class. You just can't take the points on your second horse. You must choose prior to the competition and allow our grand jury to know, and you must ride that horse first. Well, Tom McDermott, he rides SL Limerick, nominated by Greg, Jenny and Tom McDermott and ridden by Thomas McDermott, number 6 in the draw. He won the World Cup qualifier in 2013, the end-of-year championships there at SIAC. This horse has had great success over a number of years. Quite unorthodox in his going. Tom McDermott does a wonderful job in maintaining this horse's composure. From Mulgoa, just outside of Sydney, we welcome Tom McDermott riding SL Limerick. Well, not the day at the office Tom was hoping for. SL Limerick and Tom McDermott. Unfortunately, the 5 rails down. 20 jumping penalties. No time penalties, a total of 20 for Tom McDermott and SL Limerick. Making their way into the arena now, we welcome the next of our competitors, Emma Smith. And Emma is riding Ego Casablanca. Nominated by Jeff and Emma Smith. It is great to welcome a young lady who's now based down in at Ebenezer at Yandu Equestrian Services. We welcome out Emma Smith, and Emma is riding Ego Casablanca. Well, still just the one clear round at this stage of the competition as we now welcome out number 7 in the draw, Emma Smith. And Emma rides the Warm Blood Stallion, bred by Summersea stud Linda Mayer, purchased as a 2-year-old colt and has been produced by Emma Smith. Chesty as he's known around the stables. There's been a wonderful combination with Emma at the helm. Emma Smith, the rider, on course now, and Emma is riding Ego Casablanca. Well, Emma just carrying the 2 rails down as she turns for home now. 8 jumping penalties at this point of the course. Well, safely over the last. That's a great ride for Emma Smith. Just the first fence down. And then the back rail of the treble at 5C. 8 jumping penalties. 77.15 the time taken. 8 jumping penalties. No time penalties. A total of 8 for Emma Smith and Ego Casablanca. Well, if you've just joined us here in the main arena, this is a class that was meant to be run yesterday afternoon, but due to the bad weather and the amount of rain that we had, we did manage to postpone it till today. In doing so, though, we have shuffled some classes. So if you are looking for our Arabian classes that were set according to your schedule to be here in the main arena this morning, they are currently being judged in the Schmidt Arena, just behind our broadcast position. For those of you watching our answer classes, they are being put up on the big screen, all the results, as we welcome our next rider out. From the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Matthew Afford, and Matthew riding Kaluna Thunderstruck. Matt, formerly from South Australia, the winner of the World Cup qualifier in late August last year at Caboolture. A young man who certainly is the quiet achiever of the show jumping world. Moved up to Queensland or went on a show run. In fact, a number of years ago now. Loved it so much he has stayed on up there, and he rides this beautiful horse by the name of Kaluna Thunderstruck. And in the saddle from Queensland, Matt Afford. Well, Matt turns for home. Up to the Agnes Banks fence is his next fence to take on, with the 8 jumping penalties at this stage of the round. No problem with the Equestrian New South Wales combination. The final fence. Safely over the last. 8 jumping penalties, 80.84 the time taken. 80.84 the time taken. Under the time allowed, 8 jumping penalties. No time penalties, a total of 8 for Matthew Afford and Kaluna Thunderstruck. Well, we now welcome out into the arena Jess Stalling. Jess is riding Diamond B Vermont. Jess, she's had a very busy week. She's been competing at the Sydney International Equestrian Centre at the big Grand National competition. This horse, for the first part of the show, was ridden by her partner, Reece Stones. Did an outstanding job with this horse. Jess took the ride back on Monday, and a day off certainly wouldn't have hurt them both, just to freshen up. And it is great to welcome down here. Still looking for her first ever World Cup win. Could today be the day, the fairy tale that Jess is hoping for? She's been competing here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show for many, many years now. We welcome from the Oaks just outside of Camden, Jess Stalling. And Jess is riding Diamond B Vermont. Well, just the first 2 fences down, fences 1 and 2. The Glebe and the Oak Sport Horses fences carrying 8 as she turns for home. Oh, gets a little deep to the last. It drops to the ground. We have the 4 fences needing repair. Fences 1, 2, the Agnes Banks fence and the final fence. 16 jumping penalties, 85.26. 16 jumping penalties, 1 time penalty, a total of 17 for Jess Stalling and Diamond B Vermont. Well, next out into the arena, we welcome Andrew Lamb, number 10 in the draw of 32 competitors, and Andrew Lamb is riding CP Argento. CP Argento has had 3 placings from 4 competitions here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show in the Group A Section 2 competition. Andrew, a dairy farmer from Denison, runs the family property down there, and it's great to welcome from the East Gippsland, Andrew Lamb, riding a horse bred at Chatham Park at George Sanner's property by the name of CP Argento, owned and ridden by Andrew Lamb. Well, the bank falls. That gives him 8 jumping penalties as he turns for home. Well, safely over the last 8 jumping penalties, 78.37 the time taken. 78.37 the time taken. 8 jumping penalties, no time penalties, a total of 8 for Andrew Lamb and CP Argento. Well, Alison Rowland made this look way too easy, as did Bridget Hanson. We've got a clear round and a 4 faulter. We will take the top 25% as a minimum back to the second round of competition. Next out on course from the Yarra Glen, we welcome Brooke Dobbin, and Brooke is riding Silvo. Brooke, a full-time horse breaker and trainer, a former farrier and professional show jumping rider. And he and his lovely wife Angela travel to all the major shows around the country. He's represented Australia in the successful Oceania Cup team. He has had a number of top horses. A wonderful competitor, and he rides the beautiful imported warm blood gelding, presented immaculately here this morning. It is great to welcome out to centre stage Brooke Dobbin from the Yarra Glen in Victoria, professional show jumping rider, and he rides Silvo. Well, the 2 fences left to go for Silvo and Brooke Dobbin. No problem with the combination, just carrying the 12 jumping penalties. Costly line, fences 8 to 9, 12 jumping penalties, well inside the time allowed. 8.5 seconds under the time allowed, 76.64 the time taken. 12 jumping penalties, no time penalties, a total of 12 for number 11 in the draw, Brooke Dobbin. And Brooke was riding Silvo. Well, as the course is being rebuilt, just a quick update, still just the 1 clear round, 1 4-fault round, and 3 horse and riders on 8 jumping penalties at this stage as we welcome out number 12 in the draw. From Terry Hills here in Sydney, it is Sarah Beale, and Sarah is riding Alpha Century. Alpha Century, a warm blood gelding that has been a wonderful competitor with Sarah at the helm. London, as he's known around the stables, was bred up in Queensland. He is by that well-known sire Animate. And great to welcome young Sarah Beale and Alpha Century to centre stage. Well, the 12 jumping penalties at this stage as she turns for home. Sarah, the first rider to have a fault at fence number 4, the Sydney Royal Easter Show wall, 1 brick out. Comes down to the final line. Sarah Beale, Alpha Centauri. Safely over the last and through the finish, 12 jumping penalties, 75.88 the time taken. 12 jumping penalties, no time penalties, a total of 12 for Alpha Centauri and Sarah Beale. We have now had 13 horses start, just the one clear round, still have 20 horses to go in this first round. And next out into the arena, we're in the Calcutta at the Raise the Bar show jumping function last night at the Sky Deck. This horse was certainly one that they were talking about. It is the beautiful Jess Brown and Casco. Casco is a warm blood gelding. He won the big show jumping event down there at Sale last year in the Sale Grand Prix, and took home a nice purse for winning that competition. Jessica Brown and her partner Rod McQueen, based up at Kalnura on the Sunshine, up on the central coast here of New South Wales. And Jess trains with her father, Rod Brown, who's a Olympian, national coach, and been a top performer in the show jumping world. These days though, he is Jess's support team. It's great to welcome out a horse that we believe here in Australia is truly international, Jessica Brown, and she is riding Casco. Well, just the one rail down, 4 jumping penalties there. Fence number 8 catches another one out. Comes up very quick after the triple bar. 79.14 the time taken. 79.14 the time taken. 4 jumping penalties. No time penalties, a total of 4 for Jess Brown and Casco. Well, that gives us our second 4-fault round at this stage of the competition, giving us Bridget Hanson, Turnip Blue NZPH, and Jessica Brown and Casco, giving us our 2 4-fault rounds. Just the one clear round at this stage. We will be taking back to the second round of competition, the top 25%. Well, next out on course, we welcome Sharon Slater, and Sharon rides CP Aprilla. CP Aprilla was started its show jumping career with George Sanner. In fact, in 2011, George Sanner rode this mare to be crowned the 2011 Australian show jumping champion. The mare was sent to Europe and campaigned over there. She never seemed to quite like the going there and was brought back, and is now ridden by Sharon Slater. Sharon, no stranger to the limelight, as she makes her way out, this time riding number 14 in the draw. The 2012 runner-up show jumping champion, Sharon Slater, and she is riding CP Aprilla. Well, Sharon, having had the 2 rails down, decides to take a turn before the Agnes Banks fence, and just working on her communication there a little bit. Looks like not entirely happy with how she feels today, so she'll come back. Jump fence number 4. Jumping a fence out of course will incur elimination from the competition, and that will mean that'll be the end of her time here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. But he who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. No doubt Sharon will work. Whatever she's feeling there doesn't feel quite right. Well, if you've just joined us here at the Spotless Stadium, hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday morning. This is a class that was meant to be run yesterday. The World Cup qualifying event, the richest show jumping event thus far in Australia's circuit for 2015, with $18,000 in total prize money on offer. Due to the massive storm that we hit here at Homebush, we did decide or make the call with discussions with our FEI steward, our grand jury, our riders rep, and all of our competitors here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. The decision was made that we would postpone until this morning. So on course now, we welcome from Tamworth in northern New South Wales a uni student riding Jane Phil and James Hetherington's nomination of JB Carabas. It is great to welcome out to centre stage one of our up-and-coming superstars, James Hetherington, riding the first of 2 nominated horses in this competition. This is his points-nominated horse in this, the first leg of the 2015 Pacific League World Cup qualifying series. And the winner of the overall series at the end of the year will be invited to represent Australia at the 2016 World Cup final, which will be hosted in Gothenburg in Europe. Well, with the 16 jumping penalties, no problem at the last time taken, 75.24. 16 jumping penalties, no time penalties, a total of 16 for James Hetherington and JB Carabas. Still just the 2 riders on 4 faults, the 1 clear round. Jess Brown and Casco and Bridget Hanson and Turnip Blue NZPH, both sitting on 4 jumping penalties. Alison Rowland and Yolambi's Capino Z is sitting clear at this stage. The draw for any of our World Cup qualifying events is actually seeded on World Cup ranking points. So our better riders get to sit down the line, or our more experienced horse rider combinations. Well, he won a World Cup this time last year. It is Sam Buchanan next out on course. He's won a Group A Section 1 competition, jumped one of the only clear rounds here a couple of days ago at the 2015 Sydney Royal Easter Show. Nominated by Steve and Regina Buchanan from Gundawindi. We welcome out to centre stage a farrier by trade, Sam Buchanan. And Sam is riding Diamond B Vixen. Well, 3 fences left to go. 4 jumping efforts, all clear at this stage. Sydney, put your hands together once again. Sam Buchanan safely over the last. There's our second clear round, 74.78, well inside the time allowed of 85 seconds. No jumping penalties, no time penalties, and all clear for the young man from Gundawindi, Sam Buchanan, and Diamond B Vixen. What a great clear round, a pressure ride after we've seen plenty having troubles out there on the course. Sam Buchanan took it all in his stride. No jumping penalties, no time penalties, and our second clear round. Well, next out into the arena, we welcome Tom McDermott. Tom is riding a horse he only purchased in September last year. Tom this time is riding Airtime Z GHP. And Tom needs no introduction into this arena. He's been in the placings right throughout the week. In fact, this combination had a win here in the Group A Section 1 competition, winning the EFA Perpetual Trophy, the EFA Cup. In the terms of show jumping, relatively new combination. Both horse and rider have come with great experience. Paula Hamoud started this horse and jumped in the World Cup Series in the Sunshine Tour last year. From there, Tom purchased it, took it straight down to the Australian Show Jumping Championships. A sensational horse, an amazing rider. We welcome out to centre stage Tom McDermott riding Airtime Z GHP. Well, rattles the last, but it stays in the cup. 72.94, just the A element, the back rail of the A element of the first of the combinations, the treble at 5A. 4 jumping penalties, 72.94. That'll put him as our fastest for Falter at this stage, 79. Sorry, that'll put him in the top 3 there, equal third at the moment. So Tom McDermott, 4 jumping penalties, no time penalties, 72.94 for Tom McDermott and Airtime Z GHP. Well, next out onto the arena, we welcome from Gawler in South Australia, number 18 in the draw. And I have an admission to make. I've been saying this young lady is 22 years of age. She's been showing experience beyond her years. She's only 20 years of age, still able to compete in the young rider competitions, and he has had a great success in the world of show jumping at a very young age. One name to certainly keep an eye on for the future. It is great to welcome from Gawler in South Australia, Nicole Brueggemann, and Nicole is riding LCC Lux Like Cavalier. Well, just the back rail of the triple down bar down as she comes down to the final couple of fences. Carrying the 8 now, Nicole Brueggemann. Looks like Cavalier safely over the last, stops the clock, 83.06 the time taken, 83.06 the time taken. The 2 rails down, 8 jumping penalties, no time penalties, a total of 8. We have a quick look at the leaderboard at this stage of the competition. We can see Sam Buchanan and Alison Rowland, our 2 clear rounds, Tom McDermott, Bridget Hanson and Jess Brown and Casco all on 4, and Emma Smith, Andrew Lamb, and Matt Afford and Nicole Brueggemann, our 8 falters, taking us through our top 9. Well, next out into the arena, we welcome Vicky Roycroft, and Vicky is riding Congo Z. Congo Z, a warm blood gelding who has had great success in this sport of show jumping. Vicky hails to us from Mount White in just north of Sydney. Olympian, winner of this competition many times here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. A top performer, knows how to come out and win a big class of competition. Vicky Roycroft riding the beautiful warm blood gelding Congo Z combination on course. All clear at this stage. Oh, she knows how to step up at the right time. She had her first double clear round here on Monday. Vicky Roycroft, the master at work. No jumping penalties, 75.31. That is our 3rd clear round. Vicky Roycroft puts herself into 2nd place on the standings in this first round of competition. 75.31. No jumping penalties, no time penalties, and all clear. Well, we now welcome out into the arena from southeast Queensland, Rebecca Jenkins, riding RSB Jacana. Nominated by Rebecca Stewart and Lacey Jenkins, and ridden here today by Becky. Beautiful warm blood mare. She's won World Cup qualifiers in her time. She's been out to stud, had a foal, and now come back to the show jumping circuit. Becky's done the same. She had a gorgeous daughter, her and Stewie, and great to welcome Becky Jenkins and RSB Jacana. Next combination on course. Well, just carrying the 4 jumping penalties as she turns for home. 3 fences, 4 efforts for RSB Jacana, and Becky Jenkins left to go. Takes a hold to the last, pays dividends safely through the finish. 79.06 the time taken. 79.06 the time taken. 4 jumping penalties, no time penalties. A total of 4 for RSB Jacana and Becky Jenkins. Well, next out into the arena, we welcome Clem Smith. And Clem is riding Delilah. Delilah is owned by Clem, Charlene, Jessie Smith and Judy Jackson. And it is great to welcome Judy here today to watch this beautiful World Cup mount compete in this, the Sydney Royal Easter Show. World Cup qualifier, FEI 2-star, some $18,000 in total prize money on offer in this competition. Clem Smith, he has certainly been a top performer in the sport of show jumping. It is great to see him down here having successes again in 2015. And he is riding Delilah, purchased from New Zealand and imported to Australia. Well, safely over the last and through the finish, stops the clock at 79.85. The 2 rails down the middle part of the treble at 5B and fence number 8. 8 jumping penalties, no time penalties, a total of 8 for Clem Smith and Delilah. Well, next out into the arena, we welcome a tax accountant with Sinclair Wilson Accountants and business advisor. And it is great to welcome Tim Clark down to centre stage, the current runner-up Australian show jumping champion. He rides a warm blood mare by the name of Cal Tango, nominated by Tim, Ingrid and Piers Clark, and ridden here today by Tim. As I said, the current runner-up Australian show jumping champion, the winner of the 2014 Pacific Leagues World Cup Series, an on-form combination, making their way out into the first of the World Cup qualifiers for 2015. Tim Clark from Victoria, and he is riding Cal Tango. Well, Tim comes down to the final 2 fences with the 12 jumping penalties. Safely over the last and through the finish. 12 jumping penalties, 75.84 the time taken, 75.84. 12 jumping penalties, no time penalties, a total of 12 for Tim Clark and Cal Tango. That'll drop him out of the top 10 at this stage. A 12-fault round will put him into 13th. 23 horses have commenced their round. Still to come, we have 10 horse rider combinations and 3 clear rounds. Well, those 3 clear rounds are Alison Rowland, Sam Buchanan and Vicky Roycroft. Trying to add his name to the list, making his second appearance in this competition. It is Billy Raymond. He rides the beautiful Thoroughbred Gelding by Grosvenor. And this horse rider combination have won and placed more competitions than many riders starting in their career. They have been a wonderful duo and have had extremely successful time. He's been the New Zealand show jumping champion when he went over there. One thing better than taking victory over a Kiwi is that stealing their title on their own soil. He's been a successful show jumper for many years from the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. We welcome Billy Raymond, and he is riding the thoroughbred gelding by the name of Stardom. Well, just the back rail of the treble on the ground at this stage comes down to the final fence. Safely over the last and through the finish, stops the clock 73.59. The one rail down, 4 jumping penalties, no time penalties, a total of 4. That'll rank him in 5th placing at this stage. Of course, we will take our top 25% through to the second round at this stage of the competition. Guaranteed our clear rounds will come back. Alison Rowland, Sam Buchanan and Vicky Roycroft as we now welcome out number 24 in the draw. The leading Group A Section 1 horse here at the 2015 Sydney Royal Easter Show. The current Australian show jumping champion, nominated by Linda and Bonnie Martin. It is R.R. Diranta. And from Wilberforce, we welcome the professional show jumping rider, David Cameron, out here to centre stage. Dave, in fact, went into the record books. He was the first ever Australian show jumping champion in the modern era who has won that without having won a World Cup qualifier. Since then, he won the World Cup qualifier with Leopoldo building at the Sydney International Equestrian Centre Summer Classic in December of last year. On this combination, they have had wonderful success leading into the Sydney Royal Easter Show. A day off yesterday allowed them a chance to freshen up. From Wilberforce, we welcome River Ridge's nomination of R.R. Diranta and David Cameron. Well, Dave Cameron turns for home. All clear at this stage. Well, he was all clear to the Agnes Banks fence there with R.R. Diranta. Rail down there, a miscommunication coming down to the Equestrian New South Wales fence. So he picks up a further 4 for the rail down, a further 4 for the disobedience. Goes from 0 to 12 very, very quickly, unfortunately for Dave. The fence will be rebuilt and he will have to come back. He must jump the A element again before attempting to jump the B element where the disobedience occurred. 6 seconds also added to the time for the rebuild, stops the clock at 84.56. The 12 jumping penalties just inside the time allowed with that 6 seconds added. 84.56, 12 jumping penalties, no time penalties, and a total of 12 for Dave Cameron and R.R. Duranta. Well, making his second appearance in this competition, already completing a lovely 8-fault round on Kaluna Thunderstruck. We welcome Matt Afford, riding number 25 in the draw, and Matthew is riding Kaluna Salute. Kaluna Salute is a warm blood gelding. It is only a young horse stepping up to World Cup level and has the very experienced Matt Afford in the saddle. Well, still just the 3 clear rounds. For those of you watching on the live stream and here at the grounds, we're going to take our top 12 back to the second round. So top 12 will be invited back to the second round. We will have a rebuild. We're going to roll the arena. We're going to have another course walk, and we aim to have our first horse on course in the second round at 10:55 a.m. First horse on course in the second round in reverse seated order. And the first horse will be on course at 10:55 a.m. Well, another rider has fence number 8 down. 4 jumping penalties as he turns for home. Well, safely over the last, stops the clock at 78.57. 78.57 the time taken. The 2 rails down at fence number 8 and also at fence number 10, the back rail of the Agnes Banks fence. Fence number 8's got a few. 8 jumping penalties, no time penalties. Big wide triple bar. Back rail at 1.60 m of the triple bar at fence number 7. And the height of the back rail, the width I should say, is about nearly 1.90 m, just shy of that. Next out on course, we welcome James Arkins, and James is riding number 26 in the draw. Horse purchased from New Zealand a little over 12 months ago now, and this is Rothwaite Vigilant 2. Rothwaite Vigilant 2 had a win here in the Group A Section 2 competition on the first day of jumping last Thursday, some 6 days ago now. Has been a little off since then. James tells me, however, he's got this horse on song. The day off actually really helped this horse to freshen up, and we wish him all of the best. James Arkins riding Rothwaite Vigilant 2, our next competitor on course. Well, no problem at the last. In fact, the last fence has been pretty safe for many, many riders. 74.24 the time taken. 74-4. 8 jumping penalties, no time penalties, a total of 8 for James Arkins and Rothwaite Vigilant 2. If you've just joined us here in the main arena, you are currently watching the 2015 Sydney Royal Easter Show FEI 2-Star World Cup qualifying event. This class was due to be run yesterday. We have reshuffled the arena, and if you're looking for our Arabian classes, they are currently being judged in the Schmidt Arena out behind our broadcast box here in the Sydney Royal Grandstand. And we do thank our competitors for working with us after the trying conditions that we encountered yesterday. Next out on course, we welcome James Hetherington. And James is riding PP Masterclass. There are other events going on here on the main arena as well. And those results are coming up on the big screen. So if you are wondering what is going on in those other events, those results do come up on the underneath of the imagery on our big screen. James Hetherington, our rider on course. He rides the thoroughbred gelding by the name of PP Masterclass. Fortunately had the first and second fence, the Oak Sport Horses fence down there, carrying 8 jumping penalties at this stage. Miscommunication. They're coming down to fence number 8, the Ned Kelly fence. Has jumped reasonably well this week. Hasn't caused too many problems. So that'll push him to 16 jumping penalties thus far in the competition for James Hetherington and PP Masterclass. Well, no problem at the final fence. Stops the clock 94.21. 20 jumping penalties. 3 time penalties, a total of 23 for James Hetherington and PP Masterclass. Well, next out into the arena, we welcome a former winner of the Kevin Burke Memorial Mini Prix show jumping event here in 2013. It is Robert Moffat from southeast Queensland, from just outside of Toowoomba on the Darling Downs, and he rides a horse that he owns and nominated himself by the name of Finch Farm Viduka. Entering just the one rail down at the first fence, Robert Moffat, Finch Farm Viduka, our combination on course. Well, Matt Afford comes down safely over the last fence. The 16 jumping penalties, 78.06 the time taken, 78.06 the time taken, 16 jumping penalties No time penalties, a total of 16. We'll put him into about the top 20 there. We're not going to put him into the top 12, unfortunately. So we'll bid farewell to Robert Moffat and Finch Farm Viduka. Well, just the 4 horses and 4 riders left to go. We welcome out a man who has a wealth of knowledge and experience. It was great to see his mum down here at the function last night, no doubt in the grandstand today. Chris Chugg has been a very successful show jumping rider based at Wilberforce in Sydney. Well, Sierra Casiago has been competing in the Group A Section 2 competition. It's only 8 years of age, and this horse has certainly come up through the ranks very quickly. Bred by the Parker family at Sierra Performance Horses, was a foundation sire there for them. As one of the best in the business as its rider now, Chris Chugg, riding Sierra Casiago. Oh, Chris Chugg comes to the last. I thought the boy still got it. 81.25. 4 jumping penalties. Puts him into 9th place at this stage. Potentially we'll see him back for the second round. We will take our top 12 for the second round of competition according to our grand jury. Wonderful to see Bev Edwards from JB Stud in the Lockyer Valley in Queensland down here watching her son compete. Chris Chugg completes his course. 4 jumping penalties. No time penalties, a total of 4. As we welcome out into the arena now, number 30 in the draw, Olympian, winner of this class here on previous occasions. It is Jamie Coleman from the Mornington Peninsula. And Jamie is riding Nick of Time. Nick of Time by Wirragala Nicholas has had great success coming up through the grades with Jamie at the helm. Jamie and Sue Coleman run a very successful teaching, training and horse business down there on the Mornington Peninsula. Jamie, a former Australian coach and also Olympian from the 2000 Olympics. Jamie Coleman, the rider on course, and he is riding Nick of Time. Well, just the one rail down at the Ned Kelly fence for Jamie Coleman as he turns for home. Well, no problem at the last. Safely over the finish line, 78.52 the time taken. Just the Ned Kelly fence falls to the ground. 4 jumping penalties, no time penalties, a total of 4 for Nick of Time and Jamie Coleman. Still just the 3 clear round. Yolambis Capino Z, Diamond B Vixen and Congo Z. with, according to me, 5 clear, 5 4-fault rounds with the 3 gives us our top 8, which means we'll take our fastest 4. In fact, 7 clear rounds, so that will mean that at this stage there is 1 or 2 8-folders and 4 faults coming back, but we wait for the official word from our grand jury, of course, as we now welcome out Shane Davidson, and Shane is riding Fairbanks Lulu. Second last competitor to go in this first round of the Werner Deeg designed International FEI 2-star World Cup qualifier here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. If you've just joined us, this was our class delayed from yesterday afternoon. If you look at the ground, I think you'll all appreciate we're very fortunate that the RAS did move it back. The ground there has certainly jumped very nicely this morning, but after all the rain we had yesterday, it needed all the drying time it could possibly get. Well, with the first, the 8th and the 9th fence on the ground, 12 jumping penalties as he comes for home. Make that 16 now for Shane Davidson and Fairbanks Lulu. No problem at the final fence. Stops the clock 85.62 of a second over the time allowed. The 16 jumping penalties, 1 time penalty, a total of 17 for Fairbanks Lulu and Shane Davidson. Next out on course, we welcome our final competitor from southeast Queensland. It is Clem Smith, and Clem is riding Cartoon de Brave. Kenny, as he's known around the stables, is a warm blood gelding imported to Australia by Vicky Roycroft. Vicky took this horse right through to World Cup level, then decided that the horse wasn't for her, and Clem went down and had a ride and purchased this horse with his wife Charlene. It is great to welcome Clem Smith riding Cartoon de Brave. Well, he turns to the final fence, just carrying the 2 rails down. No problem at the last. 8 jumping penalties, 75.92 the time taken. 8 jumping penalties, 75.92. The 3 clear rounds. Alison Rowland, Yulambi Capino Z. Sam Buchanan, Diamond B Vixen and Vicky Roycroft with Congo Z. We're going to take a break from the show jumping. If you're watching the live streaming or you are here at the ground, we do aim to have our first horse on course in the second round. We will invite the top 12 back for the second round at 10:55 this morning. We've got plenty of results and action though, so we're going to cross now back to Angus Lane.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Tim Drummond. Well, ladies and gentlemen, while the shadowing has been on, we've had classes for the Anzas for the Australian National Saddle Horse colt 2 years and under. First place went to breastplate number 1708, was Geraldine Stock Horses and Miss S. McCall and Miss M. Fiorina from Manigal Park in New South Wales, Geraldine Just Saying. Second went to catalogue 2087, Waylong J4 Destiny with Corinne Parker from Merriwa. And Corinne's husband is one of our wonderful Greencoat mounted stewards here at the show. They had great success the other day in the Australian stock horse as well. Third place goes to catalogue 1021, Celadon Ambition with Tiffany and McAllen from Luscantine, New South Wales. So then we had the Anza class, the colt 3 years, class 87. First went to catalogue number 2250, Waylon J. Humphreys with Vaughan Richards from Osterley, New South Wales. The result of class 88, the Anza Saddle Horse filly 2 years and under. First to 2054, Oakford and Reeve and Gorton from Somerville, Victoria with Devil Ben Princess. Class 89, the Anza Saddle Horse filly 3 years. First place went to catalogue number 1921, Harrington Park Classique with Leanne and Danny McCusker from Westdale, New South Wales. Second place to catalogue 2427, MJ Halo, Melissa Jimmer Webb and Clayton Webb from Goulburn. And third place to catalogue number 1663, Davros Review, the Howe family from Wongawilli, New South Wales. Class 90 was the Anza Saddle Horse Gelding 2 years and under, catalogue class number 90, and first place goes to catalogue 1271, and that is Dracula. So Dracula, and combining stock horses and Rachel Stribes from combining with Dracula. Second to catalogue 1017, Benbrook Gunfire, Tiffany McAllen from Luscantine, and third place to 1266, combining stock horses, Mr. Brian and Mrs. Marilyn Clark from combining with combining Down Select. Our next class we had was the harness. The Hackney Horse Sulky turned out over 14 hands, class 679. First place went to catalogue 1440, Hudson Vamp, nominated by Robert and Edwina Duddy from Willow Tree in New South Wales. Second place, 1733, R&K Jones and R.M. Bensley from Taurang, New South Wales with Cherry Farm Alaric. And third place went to catalogue number 1032, and that was Ashley and Robin Ellison Woods and family from Ashwood Hackney Stud from Murrurundi. Ashwood's Tantalus, so congratulations to them. So we'll wait for our next class, and in the meantime, we'll just take a break and bring you a special message from our sponsors, and then we'll come back in the ring and we'll cross down to Carol Hugh. And in the meantime, here's a special message from our sponsors at the 2015 Sydney Royal Easter Show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Spotless Stadium here this morning, and just being judged at the present time down there for the Anza is Special Class 92, which is the best junior Australian national saddle horse. Our judge is Amanda Jobson, formerly Amanda Snelling. And Amanda lives up in Queensland. Her mum is Annette, is a wonderful lady involved in Anza for many, many years, and it's a great pleasure, as we heard earlier today with Carol Hugan, welcoming Leonie Livingston from Moree in New South Wales down here as well. Also, for those people interested in the Arabians are being judged over in the Spit Arena this morning. So if you like to go and see the Arabians, the magnificent Arabians that have had more influence worldwide on all breeds of horses than any other breed, the magnificent Arabians. And they had two very special classes this morning. The Lady Wentworth Memorial Perpetual Trophy, donated by the Arabian Horse Society. And we say thank you to them. It was first presented in 1959. The trophy commemorates the lifelong interest, devotion and work of the late Lady Wentworth to the Arabian horse. And it's awarded to the champion Arabian Mare filly. And we also have another beautiful trophy too, and that's donated by Mrs. Marjorie Hurst and family for the first presented in 57. Mr. Hurst was connected with the RAS through his life. He imported to Australia from England many animals, including Scottish Terriers, Dalmatians, Welsh Pony Stallions, Thoroughbred Stallions, and of course the Arabian Stallions. Mr. Hurst was also a foundation member of the Jersey Herd Society, the dairy cattle breed, the Jerseys, and the Australian Pony Stud Book, the Arabian Stud Book of Australia. He supported the RAS and show ring for many years until his health made this impossible. He died suddenly in October 1955. Awarded for the Supreme Champion Arabian. So to the families involved, we do say a very special thank you for your wonderful support. Well, Carol Hugan is down there in between, in fact, because the two rings, because very soon coming up as well, we will be having over there in the harness ring the Champion Reserve Champion 2 or 4-wheeled hard-tied turnout vehicles, the light harness, the product prize for the champion, supported by International Animal Health. And we say a very warm welcome to Mr. Walter Vecchiet down there in that ring right over there in front of the Cumberland stand. So as I said, the best junior Australian national saddle horse being judged down here with Amanda Jobson in front of the big screen at the present time. We'll cross down now to the Spotless Stadium to Carol Hugan.
Thank you very much, Angus Lane. Thank you for those results. And yes, it's been a great lineup so far in the answer classes. 6 horses in this class, 6 winners from the young stock classes, now vying for Best Junior Australian National Saddle Horse. And as Angus said, this is a product prize supported by White Horse Equestrian and a cash prize supported by Shadow Park Stud. So thank you very much for their contribution to the answer horses. And I did go over to have a look at the Arabians. It's wonderful to have the purebred Arabian horses back here at the Sydney show. No breed has had such an influence on every other breed than the Arabians. Even the thoroughbred owe their lineage back to a number of horses which included the Dali Arabian, and they are out there. The show must go on, so we've had to reshuffle programs. It's worked out wonderfully well to see this magnificent World Cup event here down in the Spotless Stadium.
Yep.
And the harness has been superb, Angus. Just wonderful light harness. We had some of the classes over in the marshalling yard yesterday. The champion big horses came out, and they were absolutely fabulous. We also had some of our delivery classes over there as well, and it worked out wonderfully. It meant that the show went on, the exhibitors got to continue in their classes, and we judged the authentic period turnout in the light harness, and that was fascinating to be up close and see all the accoutrements of the year or era that the exhibitors had nominated.
Well, Carol, those two exhibits coming in before you now, eligible for the champion 2 or 4-wheeled hard-tied turnout. The winners of class 6A2, the 2 or 4-wheeled hard-tied turnout horse, 14 hands and over, and that does not conform to the RAS definition of a buggy or sulky. We also have class 688, the 2 or 4-wheeled hard-tied turnout, 10 hands, not exceeding 14 hands. That does not conform to the RAS definition of a buggy or sulky. So 2 classes over there, and you can see the 2 that I referred to. The little grey pony there is representing class 688, and the lovely bay or chestnut at the back there is representing the hard tie turnout for a horse 14 hands and over. So it's back down to Carol.
Thank you, Angus. Yes, in the schedule there are specific requirements to comply with the RAS definitions, as you were saying, with relating to the springing and various construction of the vehicles. And I know that the green one there is a Park Drive Phaeton. I'll move over and get the accurate definition of the other vehicle. But they're both competing for champion. Both of these exhibits were part of that period turnout yesterday, wearing different clothing, and it was just fabulous to see them. I asked each one of them, Angus, what were they going to do? Where were they going? And one said she was going to a picnic at Queenscliff, and that was going to be held in the park, and royalty was going to be there, so she was quite excited. The other one said that that was a 1918 era, and her friend had returned from the war and was holding the horse, and she said they were going to church. And I said, but you've got an overnight bag out there underneath the rug. And she said, yes, that's right. And I said, well, I think you better make your way to church right away. And the other vehicle, which was the one that's out there now with the grey pony, they were all dressed up, had children in the seat and what have you. And when I asked them where they were off to, she said, well, my daughter and I are going to church. Johnny there, who had his slate and his school book of the year they were depicting, said he's going to school, but the husband is going to the races. So they were all very much playing out the part, and that made it a really interesting class to watch. And at the big National Stock Show in Denver, that's how they do their costume classes. They reenact a scenario that is part of the history or the era or the type of activity they are representing, and it really makes for fascinating entertainment.
Well, talking of church too, we'd like to remind all the many visitors, Carol, that thanks to Councillor Neville Russell, there's actually a church service here on Easter Sunday in the amphitheatre. So if you'd like to come along to that on Sunday morning, bright and early, we'd love to have your company at the church service in the amphitheatre, supported by the magnificent Salvation Army. And thank God for the salvos. And it's back down to Carol.
Yes, thank you. And didn't we have a wonderful interview? You had a lovely time talking to that gentleman earlier. What an amazing man he is, Angus.
He certainly is, isn't he, Councillor Neville Russell? And just a lover of everything to do with the Royal Agricultural Society of New South Wales. And in fact, they're celebrating the 20th church service this year. He, in fact, was the one that instigated over at Moore Park, Carol. And it's wonderful to see it's continued on here. For the people that are down here, that's the horse competitors and cattle and dairy cattle, and gives people an opportunity just to go and celebrate Easter and take time out to celebrate Easter and, in fact, what Easter's all about, and be thankful for this beautiful opportunity to being here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. So back down to Carol.
Thank you so much, Angus. And it's Seniors Day today. We had Seniors Day the other day, but we thought we'd better have two in case the seniors forgot that the first one was on.
I'm too young for that. But, no.
But it's also another day today, Angus.
I know.
I have been very nervous this morning.
Well, the boys on the big screen up here, I'll tell you what, he's got the Three Musketeers sitting alongside of us here, and I've just been worrying about what was going to go on the big screen. But anyway, we've been fortunate. We missed out today so far.
Should I warn people?
Yes, well, you probably should.
It's April Fool's Day.
Well, April Fool's Day, yes.
So just watch out, everyone.
You know what happened?
We are notorious down here at the
you know what happened this
Sydney
morning?
Show. What happened?
Well, Annette Snelling, she actually whispered in her daughter's ear and said to the lovely Amanda, she said, you know, I'm going to give you $1 million. And Amanda got that excited, she jumped up and down, thought, that's terrific. She said, happy April Fool's Day. Isn't that nice? Yes. That's nice. Back down to you.
Thank you. Well, we daren't tell you some of the antics that have gone on over the years because we're all very serious about this show. We all respect its traditions and its heritage, etc. But we all like having a good time. This is where the people, the horse world of Australia, join together, and often we don't see each other for 12 months, and it's like a big family reunion. And behind the scenes, in the dining room at night or round the stables in the tack rooms, we all have a lot of fun, and that's the way it should be. Sometimes that gets forgotten in the heat of competition, but we're all here because we care about this show, and we love the horse.
And also too, Carol, I'd just like to pay tribute to a lovely lady you mentioned before, and that's the lady that's the president of the Anza Association, and that's Leonie Livingston down there, sitting in the grandstand with Anna Snelling. So, Leonie Livingston, we love you. We salute you for what you have done for the equestrian world and all the young people you supported and what you've achieved for the Anza Association over a long time. And she's the most delightful lady, and a lover of Dalmatian dogs. She's got some beautiful Dalmatian dogs up at Moree. And I popped in there one day to say hello to Leonie and her husband Angus. I didn't realise the automatic watering system was on, and I left my car windows down. Well, my car got flooded, but she's a delightful lady. So welcome, Leonie. Great to see you, and I hope you enjoy your day, and it's back down to Carol.
Thank you, Angus. And she's been very successful in her own right as an exhibitor of hacks and riding ponies, etc. So, yes, we do pay tribute. And while I was over in the Schmidt Arena and watching some of the Arabian classes, I saw a couple who've contributed a huge amount to the Arabian world, and that is Ron and Val Males from Ralvon Stud. They are now retired, but of course they were there with bells on to see the purebred Arabian classes. And they were the breeders of a horse called Ralvon Pilgrim many years ago, who was so successful in this country and then travelled overseas to compete in England against the other top purebred Arabian stallions of the world, and won, and really made a name for Australia in the world of purebred Arabian horses. They've also been very instrumental in producing information and a marvellous book about breeding, because they were experts. In the time that their stud was established, there were not very many people that knew a great deal about the intricacies of breeding and producing mares and foals and keeping them healthy and fit and well. And thank you so much to the help that you've given for the horses of Australia.
Yeah, they certainly have. They've certainly done that, and they've been wonderful people and great judges too. It's been an honour to introduce them at many venues around Australia as well. Well, Carol, won't be far away. Tim Dreverman's too down there walking the course. He has the camera. And very soon, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be going back to the live streaming. We'd like to remind you too that whatever you do, as Carol said before, the Arabians are being judged over in the Smith Arena. So if you are a lover of the magnificent Arabian horses, please make your way across to the Smith Arena. The second round of the World Cup Shadowing event will be commencing very soon, and hopefully just prior to the commencement of that, we'll be able to acknowledge this magnificent lineup we see down here for the very special award to be decided for the Anzas down here, which has been judged class 92, the best junior Anza national saddle horse, and also the championship, which has been judged over there, where Carol is at the moment. And we'll just take a short break. Here's a special message from our sponsors, and then we'll be back down to Carol.
Thank you, Angus.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we just have the announcement here of a special class 92, the best junior Australian national saddle horse. And the best junior Australian national saddle horse for the 2015 Sydney Royal Easter Show goes to catalogue number 1708. That's Jaredane Just Saying. Congratulations to Jaredane Stock Horses and Miss S. McKell and Miss M. Furina from Manigal Park in New South Wales. And Carol Hukin is down there alongside the lovely exhibit. Thanks, Carol.
I am, Angus, and this beautiful young horse has been very professionally handled by
Brandon East.
Well, congratulations. Can you tell us a little more about this horse?
He's owned by Sharon McKell and Maria Furnier, and yeah, just congratulate them.
And he's beautifully presented as well.
Yes, he is.
Well, thank you very much. We've got further classes, an opportunity to welcome Helen Curtin down here. We talk about people who've contributed to the equestrian world. Helen would hold her own against anyone, and it's wonderful to see her here. She's been a measurer, life member, show horse council, served on disciplinary committees, various things, and also very much a supporter of the Anza. Welcome, Helen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Angus.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Carol Hukin. Well, ladies and gentlemen, lovely exhibit there too, and we'd like to say a very special thank you to Helen Curtin for being down there. For that product prize from White Horse Equestrian for the best junior Australian national saddle horse, and supported by White Horse Equestrian. So thank you to them. Thanks, Helen Curtin, for being here today as well. Very soon we'll have an announcement for you of special class 687 for the champion, reserve champion for the 2 or 4 World Hard-Tired Turnout, with the prize donated by International Animal Health. They're just coming around the line now, and then after that, I'd imagine we'll be very close to crossing down to Tim Dreverman very soon, so that won't be far away. So we'll just endeavour to bring you this champion, and also the best 2-year-old exhibit, or the best junior for the Anza classes. When we look back, we just had the best junior, the Anza. Last year was won by Ainsley Stars with Ivory Park and Jackie Long and Anna King. The year before that was Spring's New Moon Koala with Rachel Stribes, and they come from Cumbanning. We had T.W. Kirst in 2012 with Tracy Watson and E.B. Lodge and Andrew Buckley. So going back to D.P. Orthelia with Alison Doyle and Daisy Patchstud from Campbelltown, New South Wales back in 2004. Well, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, we have the results here of special class 687. And 687. So 687 is the champion, reserve champion, 2 or 4 World Hard-Tired Turnout. And the champion goes to catalogue number 1032, I should say. Yeah, that's Ashley and Robin Elson Woods and family from Ashwood Hackney Stud at Murrurundi, Ashwood Tantalus. So put your hands together, give them a nice round of applause. And the reserve champion goes to catalogue 2127, and that's Tahara Park Cavalier, exhibited by Maureen Pengelly and Kerry Buckley from Tarn, Victoria. 2 beautiful exhibits, and Carol Hukin is down there alongside of them, so we'll cross down to Carol. Thanks, Carol.
Thank you, Angus. And our judge here is just putting the ribbon on this beautiful phaeton. Robin Alison Woods here looks immaculate in this vintage outfit. Robin, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm thrilled.
And I've just given a very brief name to the vehicle, but tell us a little more.
It's a ladies' phaeton. It's a Victorian era vehicle.
And you are dressed neck to knee, as is, actually toe to neck, which is very appropriate, I think.
Yes, the dress that I'm wearing is actually Edwardian, which obviously comes after the Victorian era, so I'm just using an older vehicle.
Well, as we would. Thank you very much. Congratulations there. And the other one is a Park Drive phaeton. Beautiful vehicles, beautiful horses, and a lot of effort goes into preparing vehicles and animals for this particular event. And thank you very much, Mr. Walter Vecchiet from International Animal Health, with all the wonderful products that help to keep our horses healthy and looking at their very best.
Thanks, Carol Hugan. Well, ladies and gentlemen, last year it was won by Fleur Delise Mancini that we've seen being judged here this year at the show. Committed by Marjorie Walter from Ripplewood in Victoria. In 2013 was Crystal Park Limited Edition with the Reagan, Proctor and Collins family show team Motogong. He won it also in 2012 and was the reserve champion last year. Mayflower Beau Supreme, that exhibited by Ashley and Robert Allison Woods and family, Ashwood Hackney Stud Mararandai, that won the champion this year, was reserve in 2013. And if we look back at the past records, I'm pretty sure they would have been with Mayflower's Beau Supreme won the champion in 2006. They've been wonderful exhibitors here over such a long period of time. They also won with Ashwood Elite in 2011. So it's just wonderful to see. Just down there in the ring, we have the maidens and line up down there in the Anza class. Our next class is Class 80, the Anza saddle for stallion 4 years and over 14 hands, not exceeding 15 hands. But down in the Spotless Stadium, Tim Drevman's down there somewhere. He's right over there on the far side near the tractor. So we'll cross down to Tim Drevman. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you very much, Angus. I am down here in Ring Centre in the hallowed turfs of the Spotless Stadium. Now I'm going to come and take you on a little up-close and personal course walk as we start at fence number 1, the Ned Kelly fence. Over here, sitting out there for our riders to jump, stands at 1.50 m in height. Now we're just going to come straight away round here to the second fence. And already in this second round, we're taking the top 12 horse riders and combinations back to this competition. 3 clear rounds at this point. Second fence. We see sitting out, here's a big tall spread fence. Now, if you have a look here next to my shoulder, I stand just on 6 foot tall. And we're looking at our second fence here, can you believe, standing at a whopping 1.45 m and nearly 1.50 m in width. So if Simon just walks with me, if we have a look in the middle here, in between these two fences, the horses have to jump this front rail here on our left side. They also have to jump this back rail out here at nearly 1.50 m in width. So the object of the game is for our horses and riders to try and jump clear. They carry their faults from the first round into the second round. The riders are out here walking the course at the moment. We're going to take you around the course as we go. So we start over here behind us, jump fence 1 down to the Agnes Banks fence, fence number 2. The second of our real challenges of the competition come down here behind us to fence number 3, which is the Equestrian New South Wales fence. Now, as we head on over to it, it's a double of verticals. It's going to come in here very quickly, heading down towards the members' stand. And it's really going to make our horse and riders really sit up and think, because straight away he has gone up in height. 1.55 m. This is a height that you would see at an international competition anywhere around the country. And as we duck down the other side of it, we're going to come through here and we're just going to walk this distance for our competitors. They've done the same thing. It's about where they're going to land. We're going to take 4 of my paces. They've got 1 non-jumping stride between the first and the second fence. So that's the first of our combinations. In fact, it's the first of 2 combinations out here on the course, both verticals, standing at 1.55 m in height. It really is a big course for our riders here this morning in this, the second round of the 2015 World Cup qualifier. First round of the series. And these are the top 12 horses and riders out here on the course that are all having a look at it at the moment. They're trying to work out what our course designer, Werner Deeg, has set for them here. Now we're standing at fence number 4. The green brush sitting underneath here can get a little bit looky for the horses. It is actually a little bit of a nice there. They might look down at it, take their concentration off this top rail. Now, if we just come down this end, we can actually see that the rail has a plastic cup sitting on the end of it. It's actually also sitting in a plastic cup. There's only about a rise of about 18 millimetres holding it in there. So that rail takes very little pressure in which for it to be able to fall out of the cups. Our horses and riders must be jumping clean and careful. Fence number 4, well, it stands at 1.45 m in height, but a whopping 1.60 m in width. So not only have they got to jump the height, look at the width. As Simon comes past here with the camera, just have a look at the width of it. If I come and stand in between it again, you can see that it's well and truly out with a good solid width, 1.60 metre. Fence number 4 will keep on rolling. Left-hand turn. We're against the clock, so the riders are going to be looking for the shortest possible course that they can take out here in the arena. We come down to the second of our sponsored fences. Big thank you to Oak Sport Horses for their sponsorship. Sometimes an ugly looking fence, the white plank sitting up on top. They're going to have to be really careful not to cut inside the winning appliances van too much and get distracted and really jump this cleanly. I'm just going to keep rolling because we are on the clock here. The riders are going to make their way back to warm up out in the marshalling yard. So we're going to just come down this line. We'll just have a quick walk of the distance as we come through here. All the riders have done exactly this as well. They've come down, and as you walk it, oh, it's going to be a really strong 5 strides down to here. Noting that we've got the Oxer at fence number 6 out on this side. You're going to want to really commit down the line. Don't want to commit too strong though, because remember, the winner of the competition is the horse rider combination with the least number of penalties and the quickest time over the 2 rounds of competition. On the right hand wheel, they'll walk around out here, and we're going to come straight back to our Indigenous fence. Caused a few problems in the first round too. And again, if we come up and have a look with the camera, you can see the intricacy in the rails, all the detail in here. And all of that just changing the definition. Horses don't necessarily see colour, but what they see is definition. And all of this has got that really interesting definition in it. So they've got to jump this fence, heading straight towards the Sinclair stand. Now, I walked this line previously. I'm just going to head on down. I won't actually stride it out now. And it walks a really interesting line. It potentially is 10 or 11 strides for our competitors down here. You get down here too strong and you're going to be coming to one of the biggest fences on the course. This is 1.50 metre fence number 8, and it's not so super wide. It's not as wide as we've seen it, but 1.50 metre in that front rail. That back rail's almost hiding behind the front rail, so you can't actually see the front rail here. Fence number 8 sits there, so that is there. We're going to take the left-hand wheel now back down to fence number, the final of the combinations. But you can see here as we look back down the line, very tricky, related on an arc line. So if we look back down here towards fence number 8, or fence number 7, sorry, that we've jumped, and you can see where they've got to come. We can see our assistant course designer just walking there. It's not a straight line. They've got to ride that curve, and they've got to ride it as true as possible. Big thank you to Winning Appliances, this beautiful van sitting out here. They are, of course, one of our major sponsors of the show jumping here at the 2015 Sydney Royal Easter Show. What a lovely addition to our arena here as well, as you see that, leading kitchen and laundry appliance specialists. We're just going to stand in front of this. We've done so much by the time we get to here. We've jumped 8 fences. We've jumped the first round of 15 obstacles. There is just 2 fences between us, 3 efforts between us and the finish line, and us and potentially going home victorious with the richest show jumping event. But have a look at this, the triple bar. It's an uneasy fence, so different to all the others. It's so low at the front. It goes up like a ski jump, so it starts low. 1.90 metre in width between the front rail and the back rail. So you're looking at 1.90 metre between the front and the back rail. Not only that, you're going to go from a triple bar down here to a combination and an oxer. Quite often we'll see a triple bar to a vertical, but rarely do we see a triple bar to an oxer. Our course designer really testing the scope or the ability of the horse to land over that first fence and get in nice and deep to the second fence. So we jump in here. We're going to land somewhere about here, so about 1.8 metres or 6 foot from there. We're going to take our first horse canter stride, which sits us about here. We're going to take our second horse canter stride, which sits us about here. We're about 1.8 metres from the fence for takeoff. And again, he has not been too kind to us at all here. This is very square. If we get our camera and we sit through here, you can see the front rail sitting almost exactly the same height as the back rail. And again, the width of this combination, you're looking at 1.60 metre in width. So you're looking at 1.50 metre that front rail, 1.60 metre. After just jumping a width of 1.90 metre, so that scope or power of the horse is really going to be tested by our course designer, Mr. Werner Deeg. And now it's the run for home. You've run against the clock. You've got a head full of steam, and you've got 1 fence between you and the finish line. Again, it's on an arc line. We're going to run down this line as we head for home. The beautiful glebe terraces. They're a feature icon here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. They've been built as a spread fence for most of the show, but here this afternoon, the tallest fence on the course. It stands at just over $1.60 m. It says officially $1.60 m. We saw the tape on it before. Actually just on $1.60 m there, maybe a fraction more. Again, sitting on that light cup. There's nothing holding it in place. It could easily fall out. It's a really committing 5. There is a 6 there if you wanted to look for it, but really I think the riders are going to be looking for 5 strides to this last. After jumping those 2 big wide fences in the combination, this is going to take a lot of jumping. We've got 12 horses and riders that are going to make their way out into this second round. They've brought their faults from the first round, the 3 clear rounds. They'll carry their faults over the 2 rounds to come down to the final round of competition. The 2015 Sydney Royal Easter Show World Cup qualifier is going to be decided here this morning. Our first horses are warming up. We'll be making our way up to the broadcast box as we present this year's World Cup qualifier. Delayed from yesterday because of the weather. I must say, the footing out here feels absolutely sensational. They've done a super job rolling it between the 2 rounds. We really are going to see some top show jumping. I'm going to cross back to my great mate, Angus Lane. Angus, we've got so much excitement to come. The second round, 12 of the best in the business show jumping here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Tim. Great. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you are. It's all coming up very, very soon. In the meantime, before it recommences, we'll take another special message from our sponsors here in the Spotless Stadium. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Spotless Stadium. We have a horse on course at the present time, and also very soon the results of Class 83, the Anza Saddle Horse Mare, 4 years and over 14 hands, not exceeding 15 hands. I'd just like to say before I cross back to Tim, what a joy it is today to have Mr. Rob Vickery. Mr. Vickery was a former president, a past president of the Royal Agricultural Society of New South Wales. Lovely to see you, and congratulations on all you achieved over many, many years. So it's lovely to have you here with us this morning. And it's back to Tim Dreverman. Thanks,
Well,
Tim.
thank you very much, Angus Lane. First horse already on course. We welcome out from southeast Queensland, Clem Smith, and he is riding Cartoon to Brave. Carrying the 8 jumping penalties from the first round, we will award them on faults over the 2 rounds and time on the second round of competition. We walk the course. It's fences 1 to... we'll look for fence number 10 as our final fence. The big, tall, vertical Clem Smith, all clear at this stage. Well, he comes down to the final fence, Clem Smith. Hey, Sydney, put your hands together. 8 jumping penalties in the first round. No jumping penalties in the second round after 2 rounds of competition. 64.20 the time taken. 64.20. 8 jumping penalties over the 2 rounds. No jumping penalties in the second round. And it is all clear. The time allowed in the second round, 66 seconds. The length of the course is 410 metres. They're still required to travel at 375 metres per minute. Clem Smith throws the gauntlet out. A great recovery after 2 very unlucky rails in the first round of competition. As we welcome out the next of our competitors. From Mossvale and Rothwaite Farm, it is Rothwaite Vigilant 2 and James Arkins. James also having the 2 rails down in the first round. Comes into the second round with 8 jumping penalties to take the lead off Clem Smith. He must jump clear, quicker than a time of 64.20. We are running a seeded draw, so from our highest penalties to our lowest penalties in reverse order. James Arkins from Mossvale riding Rothwaite Vigilant 2. Well, 2 fences left to go. 3 jumping efforts. James Arkins all clear at this stage. Oh, the last fence falls. Time was quick enough, 62.94. 4 jumping penalties in the second round. 8 jumping penalties in the first round. Over the 2 rounds of competition, 12 jumping penalties for James Arkins and Rothwaite Vigilant 2. 62.94 the time taken, 62.94. 8 in the first, 4 in the second, a total of 12 for Rothwaite Vigilant 2 and James Arkins. Well, next out on course, we welcome the first of our 4 fault rounds. Boy, oh boy, was he unlucky. Had the last fence down in the first round of competition. He hails from Evans Park, just out here at Wilberforce. It is Chris Chugg, and Chris is riding Sierra Casiago. Chris fell off his horse and broke his wrist just 3 weeks ago. In fact, his doctors said, you don't want to ride at Sydney, and he said to the doctors, it's the best show in the country. It is the most like an international show, and I must be there. So he has done everything possible to be here. A fierce competitor, riding the young 8-year-old warm blood stallion by the name of Sierra Casiago, carrying just the 1 rail down from the first round of competition. Chris Chugg, Sierra Casiago. Well, Chris Chugg is all clear at this stage. If he jumps, unfortunately has a rail down, so now he must be quicker than 64.20. Safely over the last, 63.12 takes the lead, just fractionally quicker than Clem Smith. 4 jumping penalties in the first round, 4 jumping penalties in the second round, 63.12, and a total of 8 after the 2 rounds. That will put him into the lead. But a clear round would have just put him up the list a little stronger. Well, whose day is it going to be? Who's going to rise to the supreme here in the Sydney Royal Easter Show World Cup qualifier? We've got 12 of the best in the business making their way out, and next out on course. The fence she had down, well, it's been removed from the arena. It is Jess Brown, and Jess is riding Casco. Jess, as we said, comes into the second round of competition with just the 4 jumping penalties, and she now steps out. If she can jump a clear round, regardless of time, she'll take the lead. A rail down, she must be quicker than Chris Chugg and Sierra Casiago. This is a very talented horse. Quick against the clock from Kalnura on the central coast of New South Wales, bringing just the 4 jumping penalties from the first round. Jess Brown, and she is riding Sierra. She is riding Casco. All clear at this stage for Jess. Roll. Safely over the last. Hey, no jumping penalties in the second round. 63.03. We've got a new leader in the competition. 4 jumping penalties in the first round. 63.03, the quickest time that we've seen on the course. 4 jumping penalties in the first round. No jumping penalties in the second round. A new leader, Jess Brown and Casco, take the lead. So Chris Chugg falls into second, Clem Smith into third, and James Arkins into 4th place. As we now welcome out to centre stage, Rebecca Jenkins, and Becky is riding RSB Jacana. She also brings just the 1 rail down from the first round of competition. From southeast Queensland, RSB Jacana and Rebecca Jenkins. Double of verticals picks up its first rail there for Becky. 4 in the first, now 4 in the second. Oh, picks up a further 4 there, carrying 8 in the second round now. Comes down to the final fence. RSB Jacana draws a further 4 at the last. 12 jumping penalties in the second round, 4 jumping penalties in the first round. A total of 16 for RSB Jacana and Rebecca Jenkins. Well, Becky Jenkins falls into 5th place with the 16 jumping penalties, 61.74. Next out on course, just waiting for the bell. It is Jamie Coman, and Jamie is riding Nick of Time. Bell sounds, he commences his round. He has 45 seconds in which to do so. We have invited our top 12 from the first round of competition back to the second round. Our fastest 2 8-folders, all our 4-folders, and of course those 3 clear rounds. We've got 1 clear in the second round. Jess Brown is our current leader. The time to beat is 63.03. On course, carrying 4 jumping penalties from the first round, Nick of Time and Jamie Coman. Well, no problem at the last, safely across the finish line. The 2 rails down, fence number 4, and also at the back rail of the triple bar. 8 jumping penalties in the second round, 68.031 time penalty, a total of 9 in the second round over the 2 rounds of competition, 13 jumping penalties, so 4 and 9, 68.03. 12 jumping 1 time, a total of 13 over the 2 rounds of competition. And currently into 5th place for Jamie Coman and Nick of Time. Well, next out on course. She came out second in the first round of competition, jumped a beautiful 4-fault round, made it look way too easy. In fact, I believe lulled a lot of our riders into a false sense of security. We welcome out from Hawke's Bay in New Zealand, the New Zealand Performance Horse nomination, nominated by Juliet and Walker Hansen. It is Turn It Blue NZPH. This combination, they won a big World Cup qualifier late last year in New Zealand. Down here to centre stage. Just the 4 jumping penalties from the first round. Drops a rail at fence number 8. 4 jumping penalties in both rounds now. 2 fences, 3 efforts left to go. No problem at the last. Safely across the finish line. 66.13. 4 jumping penalties, 1 time penalty, a total of 5 in the second round. We add that to the 4 from the first round, giving them a total of 9 over the 2 rounds of competition. Time 66.13. Time allowed is 66 seconds, 66.13. So 0.13 of a time over the time allowed. We'll put her into 4th place at this stage of the competition. Still our current leader, Jessica Brown and Casco. Next out on course, we welcome Billy Raymond. Billy is riding Stardom. Well, on course now we have Billy Raymond, and Billy is riding Stardom, just for the 4 faults from the first round of competition. Beautiful thoroughbred gelding by Grosvenor. Turns for home. 63.03 the time to beat. All clear at this stage. Safely over the last. Hey, we got a new leader in the competition, 62.32. No jumping penalties in the second round, just the one rail in the first round after 2 rounds of competition. 4 jumping penalties, 62.32. That'll put him in front by about 0.5 of a second. So 4 jumping penalties over the 2 rounds. We've got a new leader in the competition. That'll put him into first place. Jess Brown into second. Chris Chugg into third. Clem Smith now falls into 4th. Bridget Hanson into 5th, as I see it. As we now welcome out our next rider into the arena, Tom McDermott. And Tom is riding Airtime Z GHP. Tom comes out also. Just the one rail down. The fastest 4 falter in the first round of competition. There are just 4 horses and 4 riders left to go in this final round of jumping in the FEI 2-star World Cup qualifier here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. If you've just joined us, you've come at the business end of the day. Tom McDermott had just the one rail down in the first round to take the lead off Billy Raymond and Stardom. He must be clear, must be quicker than 62.32. Well, the Equestrian New South Wales fence is on the ground. 4 jumping penalties in each round as he turns for home. Safely over the last, stops the clock, 60.25. Great time. Quickest time we've seen, 60.25. Didn't look to be going that quickly. But the 2 rails down, the rail down in each round. 4 jumping penalties in the second round, 4 jumping penalties in the first round. A total of 8 will put him currently into 3rd position. Well, just the 3 riders. Now the jury changes. The mood in the room certainly raises. You see, all those riders have had penalties. The next rider out was the second horse in this competition. Came out here, started the show, not ideally. However, with the skill and ability of both horse and rider, they have come back from Western Australia, from the Margaret River, some 5 days' drive from here on the East Coast. We welcome out Rory Hovell's nomination of Yalambi's Capino Z. And in the saddle, carrying no jumping penalties from the first round, Alison Rowland. If she jumps clear under the time allowed, regardless of the time, she will take the lead. We use faults over the 2 rounds and then time. Two fences to go. All clear at this stage. Oh, put your hands together safely over the last. No jumping penalties, but 2 time penalties, 70.21. That's still good enough to put her into the lead. 70.21 the time taken. Still puts her into the lead. No jumping penalties in the first round. 2 time penalties in the second after 2 rounds of competition in the International FEI World Cup qualifier 2-star competition. Alison Rowland, Yalambi's Capino Z, completes their round with just 2 time penalties. Well, she has got plenty of experience. She certainly knows how to handle pressure. In fact, walking the course, she was laughing, she was joking, she was having a jovial time. We welcome out from Mount White in New South Wales, Vicky Roycroft. And Vicky is riding Congo Z. Vicky also comes into this final round with no jumping penalties. Rail Falls, now to be into second place, she must be quicker than a time of 62.32 a second rail. That puts her on 8 jumping penalties. Well, carrying the 8, she turns for home. Sets up for the final fence. Hey, Sydney, put your hands together for Vicky Roycroft. Stops the clock, 63.42. The early 2 fences, the Agnes Banks fence falls and the Equestrian New South Wales fence both fall on the ground. 63.42. No jumping penalties in the first round. 8 jumping penalties in the second round. A total of 8 over the 2 rounds of competition. Well, we take a deep breath. We welcome out to centre stage our final rider in this competition. The stage is set, the curtains are drawn. Samuel Buchanan can win his second ever World Cup qualifier, having only ever won one of these competitions before. A young gentleman who has only recently graduated from junior and young rider events, riding his mum and dad's nominated horse in Stephen and Regina Buchanan, by the name of Diamond B. Vixen. Bred by Diamond B. Stud at Wilberforce, where Sam spent a number of years as a working pupil. He's now a professional farrier by trade. To win the class, jump clear under the time allowed. In fact, he can get 1 time penalty and still win the class. Can't afford to rail down. Sam Buchanan, Diamond B. Vixen. Oh, Sam Buchanan, 67.10. 4 jumping penalties, 1 time penalty. He goes from 1st to 4th in the matter of a moment. Sam Buchanan will finish in 5th place. Looks like the win has gone to Alison Rowland, Yalambi's Capino Z. Billy Raymond, Stardom into 2nd. Jessica Brown, Casco into 3rd. Sam Buchanan, Diamond B. Vixen into 4th. Tom McDermott and Airtime Z, GHP into 5th place. Angus Lane, thank you very much for allowing us to hold the airways there with yourself and Carol. What an amazing class. Well done to the Western Australian from the Margaret River, Alison Rowland in Yalambi's Capino Z. Takes out the win here. The richest show jumping event thus far this year, the International FEI 2-star competition, won by Alison Rowland, Yalambi's Capino Z.
Well, congratulations, young Tim, on a great call too. Well done, mate. Great call. It's a lovely to be working with Tim Dreven to see the next generation of young people coming through at the Royal shows. And it's Tim's very first Sydney Royal show, and it's a joy to work with him. We have the great pleasure of working together at Canberra Royal Show, Brisbane Royal Show, and now here at Sydney Royal Show. So congratulations. It's no wonder they gave you a nice rose to put in your lapel, see? And very dapper. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a result here too for Class 83 that we'd just like to recognise as a former past was a result that was decided earlier. For the Anza Saddle Horse Mare, 4 years and over 14 hands, not exceeding 15 hands. Once again, it's been lovely to have with us here today. I'd just like to say Mr. Rob Vickery, who was a past president of the Royal Agricultural Society of New South Wales in the broadcast box with Tim I, watching the World Cup shadowing event. So it's a great honour to always see Rob and his lovely wife Tina. We have the results now. First place goes to Border Show Centrefold, in that class was Sarah Young from Moree. Second place goes to catalogue number 1697, and that was Ivory Park Stud and Jackie Long and Kirley Stud and every family from Aran Park, New South Wales. Queenia Jessica 2, bred by Mr. Frank Coonan from Canberra. Third place goes to catalogue number 1640, Gordon Park Song, Alan and Mrs. Sandra Henry from Numbar, New South Wales. Fourth place to catalogue number 2396 is Willowcroft Coco Chanel, Hunter Taylor from Fitzroy Falls. It's formerly owned by Alexia Fraser from Queensland. And fifth place goes to catalogue number 1480, the Fates family, and that's Talam Takara. So congratulations to them. And we just have a result now for the class just been decided down there. This is class 84. And class 84 is for the Anza Saddle Horse Mare, 4 years and over 15 hands. Our judge is Amanda Jobson from Queensland. First place goes to catalogue number 1057, HM Attitude, with that's Anglewood and Jamison, Nikki Jamison. Congratulations, Nikki and Stephen from Dunedin, Queensland. Second place to catalogue number 2268, Keith Rollison from Willumbla in New South Wales, and LC Dimity Bell. So LC Nimity Bell in second place. Third place to catalogue 2101, that's Jadan Gazelle with Leonard Partridge from Walker, New South Wales. Fourth place to catalogue number 2154, Diana and Kim Phillip Barnes from Tuggerah, New South Wales, with Glowing. And in fifth place goes to catalogue number 2478, and that's Taryn and Lisa and Kay Walsh from Glenhaven, New South Wales, in Gem Park Harmony. And Carol Higgins down there just saw that class. Carol, what a lovely lineup.
They certainly are, Angus. An absolute treat to be close to them down here. These ultimate Anza saddle horse mares. And I just heard a little bit of information, Angus. One of our stewards down here, Julie McLean, has an Anza horse representing Australia in eventing and ridden by the wonderful Andrew Hoy. So Anza horses competing in all sorts of disciplines around Australia.
Isn't that wonderful? And Carol, over in the far side of the arena too, in front of the Cumberland stand, we welcome class 731, the Shetland Pony Sulky or Buggy turnout. And our two judges over there, they've had a big week. They really have. They've just worked tirelessly throughout the show, and it's a great pleasure to welcome Diana Osbrook and also Elsa Avery, two very distinguished ladies in harness. And it's indeed a great pleasure to welcome them here to the Sputler Stadium. We'll just take a short break and bring a special message from our sponsors in the Sputler Stadium before the presentation of that class, and also the show dumping coming up very soon. Here's a special message. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Spotless Stadium. And just while they're preparing for the presentation down here, we'll just go across to Carol Hukin over there alongside where the harness is. What a beautiful lineup we have there. And then we'll cross back over here to Tim Prix soon. Thanks, Carol.
Thank you very much, Angus. And we've been having some wonderful harness throughout this show, right from these Shetlands and even smaller, the miniatures in harness, up to the very big heavy horses, including our Shires and our Percheron and Clydesdales, all the big horses, the big Belgian drafts. But right here we have our Shetland ponies in sulky or buggy. That is the type of vehicle that they are pulling. And our judge, Mrs. Elsa Avery, inspecting these ponies as they go through their paces here on the Spotless Arena. At the same time, Ms. Diane Osbrook is having a look at the vehicles a little bit closer. They are beautiful vehicles, and if you look at them very closely, you can see the magnificent preparation and the way these vehicles have been built and restored, and the paintwork is exquisite up nice and close. But we've got the big jumping horses coming out for the presentation, so we'll cross back up to Angus and over to Tim.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, very soon we'll be having the presentation of our Chatterby down here. And Tim Dreverman's down there for the presentation. All the horses are making their way in, and it won't be far away. What a great Chatterby event. Boy, it's congratulations to Councillor Graham Davey and all the Mr. Bill Pickin, our ringmaster, and all those involved with making the decision, as hard as it was to transfer the class from last night to this morning. But had they not done that, ladies and gentlemen, the arena would have been just so badly ploughed up. So it's, and we have some very special awards to be decided with this presentation as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're back down to the Spotless Stadium for the presentation of the World Cup Shadowing event with Tim Dreverman.
Well, thank you very much, Angus Lane. We are down here now for the presentation. In fact, we have Mr. John Winning down here from Winning Appliances and Appliances Online to make the presentation to the World Cup winning horse. They receive the beautiful rug, the garland, the medallion of excellence, Royal Easter Show, and the Oakwood products, thanks to Mr. Jeff Searle. And well done. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, please join in congratulating the 2015 World Cup winner in Yalambi's Capino Z, ridden by Alison Rowland. John Winning down here to make the presentation of this beautiful horse. Well done to the owners and connections with this beautiful horse, Rory Hovell and the team from Yalambi Stud over in Western Australia. She's come to us here in Sydney, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the Margaret River. It took them some 5 days to drive. Yalambi Stud, in fact, have 2 trucks over here. They've got 9 horses coming over to the east coast of Australia to compete in a series of shows, and wonderful to welcome Alison Rowland here, victorious here this morning in this, the World Cup qualifier. She also receives the garland. Once again, a massive thank you to John and Kerry Winning and all of the team at Winning Appliances. They really have raised the bar in show jumping here in New South Wales and Australia, as they have put so much time, effort and soul into the sport of show jumping. Last year was the first time we ever ran an FEI International 2-star competition. They've backed up again in 2015 to go through that again. Well, Mr. Ho Na Yu, our international judge, is now presenting the Medallion of Excellence at the RAS, and that is for the winning rider and also the winning horse of the show. Mr. Rob Vickery is down here to make the Frank Thomas Trophy, as the owner of the winning horse, and this will be awarded to the magnificent family from Yallambee Stud. Rory Hovell and all the connections with that there, the Frank Thomas Trophy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Frank Thomas Memorial Perpetual Trophy. It's a lovely White Hill silver-plated wine cooler raised on a timber plinth, donated by the family of the late F.K. Thomas. First presented in 1986, his wife Evelyn and sons Michael and Anthony, Ian and Peter chose this event as the most appropriate and fitting memorial of Frank's work over the years with the horse section of the RAS. Mr. Thomas first became involved in the horse section, particularly show jumping in the late 1950s, and continued until his death in 1985. Initially, he worked as a steward and then for many years as a judge. Then, to the best knowledge of his family, he never missed a Royal Easter show and enjoyed the RAS Friends company on the yearly holiday at the show. For many years, Mr. Thomas was an RAS councillor of Queensland Toowoomba. He was elected an honorary member of the RAS of New South Wales and awarded to the owner of the winning horse of Sydney for the Royal Easter Show Grand Prix. Last year it was Russell Johnston and also Barala's Centurion. The year before that was Sharon Slater, who's won again this year, and 2013 with CP Ulysses. So back down to Tim.
Well, thank you very much, Angus. Well, our judge is now making his way along the lineup. We'll go through the lineup of the top 12. Congratulations to our second place getter, Billy Raymond and Stardom. Jessica Brown and Casco was in third. Samuel Buchanan and Diamond B. Vixen in fourth. Thomas McDermott and Airtime Z GHP in fifth. Chris Chugg and Sarah Casiago was in sixth. Seventh place, Vicky Roycroft and Congo Z. Eighth place going to Clem Smith, Cartoon de Brave. Ninth place going to Bridget Hanson, Turnip Blue NZPH. 10th place going to James Arkins and Rothwaite Vigilant 2. 11th place going to Jamie Coman, Nick of Time. And 12th place going to RSB Jacana and Rebecca Jenkins. Well, moving on in our awards ceremony, unfortunately due to the changing of program, we couldn't award this to a young lady yesterday, but her father is down here to receive the award on her behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, the Samuel Horden Trophy for the jumping horse of the show. We have Mr. Bruce Farrer here from Equestrian New South Wales, the CEO of Equestrian New South Wales. Can you please put your hands together? I know she'll be hearing this down in Murrum Bateman, to Emily Longhurst and Rhapsody in Blue. That horse had 4 starts for 2 wins, a second and a 4th place getting. And the Samuel Horden Trophy for the jumping horse of the show has been awarded to Rhapsody in Blue and Emily Longhurst.
Well, Tim, that lovely trophy is a 9-carat gold twin-handled cup raised on a tapered circular tin plinth made by Hardy Brothers in 1950, donated by the Committee of the Equestrian Federation of Australia, and first presented in 1961. Mr. Samuel Horden was killed in a car accident in 1960. His father, Sir Samuel Horden, was also president of the RAS. Originally presented to the rider of the winning horse in the advanced section of 3-day event, the 3-day event was eliminated from the RAS after the 1986 show, and the trophy was then transferred to the jumping class. It was then awarded to the exhibitor of the horse, scoring the greatest number of points in Group A and Group C show jumping, and now awarded for the horse of the show. Sir Samuel Horden, CMG OBE, was the RAS councillor 1935 to 1950, ringmaster from 1948 to 1954, the RAS vice president from 1950 to 1954, and RAS president from 1954 to 1960. A very distinguished gentleman. Last year was won by Clint Beresford, Emerald Jitterbug, Greg McDermott with Laguna Beach, won it in 2013. And it's back down to Tim.
Thank you very much, Angus. We are now down here for the presentation of the most successful rider of the show. We have Mr. Rob Vickery here to present the sash and the trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, he's had an outstanding show. He won it here in 2014. He wins it again in 2015. Please put your hands together for Tom McDermott and his team of horses. Of course, keep the applause going for his string of helpers down there in the stables. that all work out throughout the entire show, keeping Tom sitting on the best possible horses and looking immaculate each and every day of competition. It is won by Tom, but congratulations to all of the connections. The leading, most successful rider of the 2015 Royal Easter Show, Tom McDermott. And we also have Tough Rock here as well with the prize pack. Thank you to Steve Hurley from Tough Rock Australia as Tom receives the Playfair Trophy as the most successful rider of the Sydney Royal Easter Show.
Also, it's a great pleasure, as Tim said, to welcome Mr. Rob Vickery down there, a former president of the Royal Agricultural Society of New South Wales. And he'll later on today be also presenting an award from the Bective station that he and his lovely wife Tina own, which was for camp drafting as well. So we thank Rob for his contribution and what he has provided, the service he's provided to the Royal Easter Show over many, many years. And it's back down to Tim.
Thank you very much, Angus. Well, we'll just wait for the final of the photos. We'll slide in here. Congratulations to Tom McDermott. What an outstanding win it was. Tom McDermott, congratulations, my friend. A super win for you here today. The World Cup, not what you wanted, but what a successful show you've had for 2015.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Yeah, I couldn't be any happier with the horses. They all jumped great. It's always a great show here. All the horses seem to jump amazing here every year, and yeah, it's good to be here. And yeah, it's tough competition, and you get the best horses in Australia here. So I'm pretty happy to be up here.
Well done. Congratulations to Tom McDermott. The young jumping horse, the young.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Come on, Sydney. Come on. Australia, give Tom McDermott a big, big round of applause.
Well, the young jumping horse of the show for 2015. She won the most successful horse. She also picks up the beautiful ribbon and sash being awarded to Rhapsody in Blue and Emily Longhurst. But we're going to come down here because, boy, oh boy, this lady has had an outstanding day here today. Alison Rowland, what a win. Came out here, jumped clean in the first round, just the 2 penalties in the second round. You trusted him like there's never been trust before. Well done on an outstanding victory.
Thank you very much. Yes, we didn't have a very good start to the show. He didn't like one particular fence, but today I knew he would be fine. I knew he'd be absolutely fine, and he was really good. He jumped fantastic in the first round. I thought he might run out of a little steam in the second round, but again, he jumped wonderful. Thank you very much to Rory and Sue Hovell for letting me ride this horse, and thank you also to the organisers. I know it's not been easy with the rain yesterday. But I think it was a good choice. Today the ground was fantastic. And really sorry to Kerry Winning for everything she did yesterday for the World Cup, but I hope the night was a success for her. Thank you.
Just before you go, Alison, I'm going to steal a moment more of your time because it's an organisational nightmare to get over here from Western Australia. There's 2 trucks on the road from Yalambee Stud, and Rory and Susan do a wonderful job in producing these beautiful horses for you to sit on.
Yes, we have 1 truck that's gone to Mount Gambier. We will go down there tomorrow to meet up with them. We have some wonderful young horses at Yalambee, and by this stallion as well. And the Yalambee Stud is such a well-organised team now. We all work so well together. It's a pleasure to be part of the team. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys around the ground, once again, please put your hands together. The winner of the World Cup qualifier all the way from the Margaret River in Western Australia. Please show your appreciation. Under trying conditions yesterday, the organising committee raised the bar. They stepped up. What a great decision it was. Please put your hands together. The 2015 World Cup winner, Yalambee's Capino Z and Alison Rowland.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Tim Drebman. So come on, New South Wales, come on, Australia, put your hands together as they parade off before you here today.
Well, as they come past just one omission, the Julie Wilson jumping horse, young horse of the show was won by Rhapsody in Blue. Thank you to Julie Wilson and Anna Sharpley for their sponsorship there. But as they come past, once again, put your hands together. World Cup show jumping at its finest here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show.
And what a great event. Congratulations, Tim, and congratulations to everyone involved. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have another champion to announce. The champion, Special Class 85 for the champion, Reserve Champion, Australian National Saddle Horse Mare over 14 hands. The champion, congratulations, goes to catalogue number 2561, Border Show Centerfold, Sarah Young from Moree in New South Wales. Congratulations, Sarah. Sarah had a wonderful Toowoomba show last week as well. And the reserve champion goes to catalogue number 1057, HM Attitude. And that's Angelwood and the Jamison's nomination, Nikki Jamison from Doonan in Queensland. And last year, our champion went to HM Attitude. Our reserve champion this year was the champion last year. And the reserve champion last year was Headley Park Unique with Kim Stewart. And we'll cross down to Carol Higgins. She'll be down there with Sarah Young. Thanks, Carol.
Thanks so much, Angus, and all these awards that Sarah is receiving for this beautiful little mare. Congratulations, Sarah.
Thank you so much.
Tell us about her. Tell us the fairy tale story of this beautiful mare.
I bought her as an unbroken